When I realized who Sika was, I fucking started crying like I was a 2-year-old kid that missed his mama. For real. I don't fucking cry like that. That shit fucked me up. These sisters is on a mission. Don't get in they fucking way, cause then y'all gonna have to answer to these fucking gorillas. I'm everywhere one of these is. Don't fuck with these sisters, or you gonna have to answer to these gorillas. And it won't be pretty. Get out their way, give them their shit back. I gave them the science, gave them the art. Now they can do their black girl magic. And I don't care what their skin look like. If they ain't no imposter, they got black girl magic going on and they finna elevate up out this bitch. They finna show y'all what this shit look like when they gave niggas, these nut carrying motherfuckers, want to stick their chest out talking about they the fucking man of the house. They done been giving these sorry motherfuckers how many hundreds of years to fix this shit. It ain't fixed. It ain't fixed. I don't want to work with them. I work with the ones who support the sisters. The rest of them motherfuckers, they can eat shit and die. A real slow, painful death. All the pain they done put my sisters through, all the pain they done put Mother Earth through, multiplied by about 1 billion, drag it out 100 million years longer, and feed it to their ass, through their ass. That's what they need. That's right, Mama Woo Woo. Cleaning motherfucking house. House cleaning. Don't nobody clean house like Mama. Nobody clean house like Mama. I hope y'all prepared for this shit. Y'all about to see some shocking and amazing fucking shit take place. I can't tell you what it is because I can only go up to the next sign. So this one was flipped off the 440 turnaround. Off the zigzag zig. It went through Sika, Portia, me, Beverly, back to me. So, Mama got something heavy. Sisters, feel your power. Feel your power. Tell Mama to let you feel your power. All you gotta do is say, Mama, let me feel my power. When you start feeling it and the sisters around you gonna start feeling it too. Be contagious with that shit. Powerful. Wake your mitochondria up. That's the source of all love on this planet. And that evil, wicked shit can't stand when the mitochondrial waves start connecting. They got the wrong energy signature. They can't fucking stay here. I can give you references out the ass of what I'm talking about. But to simplify this shit, sisters, feel your power. Connect. Touch each other. I gotta tell y'all what to do about the women with no wombs. I almost forgot. So, if they had gave her a hysterectomy and she don't know what to do, when the woman start resonating that tone, it looks for what's balanced as the standard. It won't take imbalance as a standard because the imbalance got to be corrected. So the older women who had hysterectomies, they wanted to cut you off from your power. I'm finna tell you how to get it. The center of your palm, there is a chakra on both hands. Palm to palm with a prepubescent girl, the girl that never had her cycle yet. What's going to happen is a tone is going to go through her first because it's going to recognize her as being the most balanced and correct of the two. And then it's going to be able to read where the anomaly is at the uterus. And then it's going to be able to give you an energetic replacement. It's going to give you an energy ball to take place of the uterus where you can still use the portal power without having the physical organ. but it need the young girl as a calibrating tool. So they have to be palm to palm while the A tone is resonating, and this will help her jump the void that they call, it's called a void, where the uterus has been removed. And that's going to realign all of her chakras where she can join in and give power to the rest of the sisters. That's some powerful shit. I done basically turned y'all into human atomic bombs. I'm just waiting for the shockwave because I'm going to love this shit. I'm going to love it. I'm going to love it. So, I'm open to questions. I have to answer truthfully. Any woman asks me a question, I need y'all to know that. I have to answer truthfully because they let me into the network, into the hive. If these motherfuckers don't bump straight, they gonna be fucked. Because they're not gonna be able to process enough energy to keep up with a fully awoke woman. The woman has to allow you to wake up. That's what you don't get. That's a privilege on earth for a man to be woke. It's a privilege. It's not a right. The woman, absolute right. The man is a privilege. Now, if you don't know the difference, go read your law dictionaries and you understand the difference between a right and a privilege. See, this day shit. Earth is mitochondrial based. Mitochondria run this motherfucker. I said it before, I say it till I'm blue in the face. Anybody don't believe me, take it out your system and see what the fuck happened to you. No? So, with that, I'm going to close this one out. Let me look at the clock. 9:20. That's 11. Initiate. So we initiating from here. The linking up of the sisters on the, off this zigzag zig coming out the 440 turnaround. Portia, Sika, y'all next. I don't know what y'all mama got planned for y'all, but y'all up.
I wanted to tap in because these star seeds are coming through. You know what I'm saying? Like we out here birthing this next generation and bringing them through. And these babies are, woo! These babies are something else. You know, like they're coming in with messages. They just, you know, like I'm just trying to grow so that I could understand because they're, you know, we birthing ancestors and bring them back through. So
Yeah.
the other, like 2 weeks ago, I was holding a ceremony up in the forest, and as soon as I pulled up, man, the mothership was right above. I looked up in the sky, and the mothership was hovering right above the building, and I was like, so I called over my husband, and I'm like, babe, am I tripping or is this real? And we all, like, we seen it. The person hosting the ceremony came over. We just rejoiced because it felt like our star family was pulling up on us, and they wanted us to see them. I was the closest. You know, sometimes you see a UFO and you like, it just fly by fast and you're like, oh shit, was that what I thought I saw? This was not that at all. This was a slow roll. Like, this was like, yo, we pulling up on you. What's up? You see us? And then they just cloak themselves like into the clouds. But I've been tapping in with your messaging, like since you was speaking to Sister Isis, since you was speaking with the Hood Healer, you know, and I just resonate with a lot of what you've been talking about, just the queens and our place in the matriarch. I come from a very powerful matriarch in the Arawak Nation throughout the Caribbean. So just being on this land, being in California right now is just, I'm just feeling the rising of the divine feminine. I'm feeling the healing of the divine masculine. And these new divine masculines that are being born, they're coming in healed. You know, they're coming in with
they come ready for war.
Yeah. But they also come in to bring peace. You know, like they're the most peaceful divine masculines I've ever encountered because they got that balance of the feminine and the masculine already figured out.
So when they come in order, because they come in ready for war,
Right.
but their goal is to establish the peace.
Mm. Mm.
The war, they shouldn't have to fight a physical war if we do our job.
Right. And that's the messaging that I'm getting is like when I was in ceremony, it was telling me that I needed to cleanse all my ancestral pain and the ancestral pain of everybody pretty much on the planet right now, so that we don't hand it down to the next generation, so that they don't have to wrestle with that. So that's what happened. And it's like, I just feel like their souls are, they're old souls, but their souls are fresh. Like, they don't have all that trauma attached to their DNA the way that, like, I feel the millennial generation does.
Right. So the ones that, like, for instance, when I came in with the very rarely heard of onyx seeds. The onyx seeds preceded the indigos, because we supposed to clear the way for them.
Wow.
And set their protection up.
Got that.
So then we start becoming, we start becoming adults. We start producing the indigos.
Yes. And that's my generation. That's who we are. And then this new generation, I guess they're calling them the crystal children.
Star seeds. Yep. Star seeds, crystal
children. Yeah. But yeah, I just wanted to tap in with you, and I just feel like all the tribes are tapping in, you know, like all the different bloodlines are rising up again. You know, people, I've been very quiet about who I am and what I am, because I've been at war for lifetimes, you know, and I didn't.
I already know the rules. Certain ones of us can't say who we is until it's time for us to come out the dark.
Exactly. And I can't speak on who the star seeds are, you know, because it's like the attacks that we've had to undergo to even make it this far, to even bring the star seeds through. It's been wild. It's been wild, like defeating fucking warlocks and shit like that have been.
That's because we've been warlocked. We've been locked in war, fighting conquerors.
So has the land. So like I've been feeling like I travel a lot. I'm nomadic, so it's like I feel like certain light grids call me to them, and I got to go there, and I stand on that land, and it's to clear some, like, the lock that's on the land, you know. And like recently in California, it's been wild. Like, it's been wild. The entities that have held on to the land over here and that we've had to go to war with. And it's like, I feel like once you beat them at their own game, that's when they're like, wait, who the fuck are you? And how the fuck did you just beat me? I'm 8,000 years old. And it's like, and then you just got to dip out, because they try to follow the line and to see where you get your source from, where you get your energy from. And it's like you said, there's a lot of us out here right now. And I feel like I'm coming out of a vow of silence that I've been in for years, where I just been kind of on my Kali Ma warrior goddess energy, just, you know, handling these entities before the starseed had to come through. And then it's like, now that he's here, I feel protected, you know. Like, I feel like the kings have risen, the queens have risen, the goddesses and gods have risen. So it's like they can't really hurt us anymore, you know. Like all the it's like, I feel like the light beings won the war. I think we're just seeing it happen in the physical, like kind of like rewinding the tape.
Right. So it is because it's what you call the turnaround time. The turnaround time is from the time that it's applied, how long does it take for it to be seen in the physical world?
Right.
Right. So all of the work done, now we moving the timeline to the convergence, to the singularity. In Free Larry Hoover in gematria is 191, and that's an anagram for 9/11, which means when they free Larry Hoover, we bring their system down.
Right.
Right. And we bring their system down by screaming "Free Larry Hoover" as the battle cry.
Yes, and I heard you say that Free Larry Hoover is also like for all political prisoners, you know, and
all political prisoners.
Like, yeah. I feel like I'm one of the spirit protectors for Assata Shakur. So it's like I'm also an artist. I'm a musician and a painter. So it's like I've been in ceremony with Assata, just in terms of like I painted this image of her, and then I just got called to like adorn her in all these indigenous regalia and like crown her, and like the image.
So in the culture, what you're doing is you're doing her footwork on the land while she's indisposed. So
Woo.
to tap into her is Black Girl Magic is your voodoo source. Black Girl Magic. So
Okay.
wherever you see that at, know that Asada Shakur energy is tied to it.
Yeah. And I'm from Jersey, so it's like that's where everything went down with Asada. Like that's where
Yep.
shit got ugly for her. And then Oakland, which is where I was living. That's where she did her work. You know, that's where she did her footwork. You feel me? And it's like Afeni and all of them was out there too. And it's like this California and this Queen Califia energy is really rising right now. So obviously, you know, the opposition is trying, you know, and it's like it's crazy. It's crazy that it feels like a million lifetimes, or it's like the head of a million lifetimes. You know, like all these different lifetimes that you win, and sometimes you get taken out. Sometimes you got to come back in a different form. Sometimes you lose the battle, and it's like,
Look, leg of the bull, leg of the bull. As above, so below. Now watch what this do. Look. Now I told you I had to have two of them pointing in the opposite direction. Oh no, this is this direction. This is telling me, pointing down, that this was coming from the mother line. This was coming from the mother line. Now, when I go back in my other phone to show y'all, go a little deeper than we going. Y'all just gotta bear with me for a minute because um, I gotta show y'all that. Okay, now those two upside down triangles right there. See this triangle right here? All right, it's facing down. That's the mother line. That represents the vagina in the front, the mother line. Right? Now, when you put the mother line and the father line together, now watch what happens. Let's see this right here. Watch what happens. Look right here. Um, tree of knowledge, tree of life. This is your crucifixion. Right? Your son of man being me, the seven, right? Remember the seven in the middle? The circled seven in the middle? The seven being crucified at the tree, trying to rescue mama. Now look, 4, 6, 8, 9. Now look, sorrow and suffering, that's what the man got to go through. And idea, realization, joy and triumph, right? All of those things is part of the process. All those things part of the process. Now look, this is your Vesica Pisces. Once both of them has made it into the Queen's chamber together. Both of them made it all the way up there together. Now both of them is raised and passed to the highest point. You can't raise them no higher than that. Right? Let's see. Okay. So now, what's next? The Vesica Pisces, again, that represents the diamond. I showed y'all how it tied me to Suge Knight, Puffy Combs being left hand path, being bad boys moving silence. Bad boy moving silence is a reference to the Central Intelligence Agency. Right? The Central Intelligence Agency. Now, I've been up studying all day. I'm a little exhausted right now. I'm going to review this video because I need to know what material, because all of it not here. The rest of it going to have to be presented in the morning because I had my materials backwards. So I had to reorganize to show y'all the rest of the Vesica Pisces. Because I got to show y'all how the Vesica Pisces, right, form the two triangles. The two triangles form the diamond. The diamond represents the diamondback rattlesnake. I want y'all to see it, right? The diamondback rattlesnake on the picture I showed y'all earlier with the, oh, I Didn't even say the page. Oh, that was in here. In the picture I showed y'all earlier, I'm gonna go to this picture. All right, so in the same way I started, right here, I had to finish here, Alpha and Omega, as it was in the beginning, so that it had to be in the end. It had to be plain enough for a baby to understand it. So I went through the line of the woman through the lion, the woman through the bull, which was the calf, which was Hathor. This was Bast, which was the Black Panther, and this was the bikers, which was your American Eagle, and then you had your Patriots, which was represented by the Diamondback Rattlesnake. Now check this out. Y'all won't think I'm making it up. See how the white one pointing up, the black one pointing down. Look, the 13th seat of Ta'ert at the crown. Opening the third eye, opening the crown chakra. Same thing on this side. You see? Old man Winter. Out the Blue Lodge. See this? Blue. He came out the Blue Lodge. He raised himself through the Red Lodge. Because you can't raise yourself from the Blue Lodge through the Red Lodge and get to her if you ain't a bad motherfucker. Because Mother Isis said that look, only one motherfucker bad enough to do that. The man couldn't make one on his own, so she had to do it by herself. I, Isis, am all that has been, that is or shall be. No mortal man has ever unveiled me until today. Until today. Because the fruit which I have brought forth is the Son. That is me. This day I become Ra'atin, the known God. We move out of the era of the unknown into the era of the known. This shit ain't no secret no more. Bring me my shit to the house. Bring me my shit to the house. Look, this even show you. This is the Blue Lodge. This is the Red Lodge. But even the mother had to stand over the Blue Lodge. See that? Upside down triangle, that's the woman. Upside down triangle, that's the woman. Can't escape this shit. The Vatican is the leg of the papal bull. So the same way that the Masons told me who he was, the shrine told me who he was, and now the Queen of Heaven and Earth said, yeah, it's the motherfucker that sit here. Look, on 7 hills. Didn't I tell you that's on the ground got to match what's in the sky? 7 hills, 7 stars. 7 hills, 7 stars. Look, this is the mother line. As above, so below. She telling you, look at that motherfucker down there. Shine your light on that motherfucker, let it be known. All motherfucking roads lead to Rome. Now, let me expose to y'all. These are patriarchal symbols. These 3. It's called an obelisk. This is a giant dick. 3 of them. Because of the patriarchal takeover of the system. This is a giant penis. A phallus symbol. It's sitting on the America, DC, military. Right? Vatican, Rome, religious. Right? The crown, London. Right? It's only 3 city-states. London. Finance. So, when I first started, I had to identify the mark of the beast. Not the beast, but the mark of the beast, which was the dollar. Because you can't buy or sell without the dollar. Right? Anybody that been to the hood that seen somebody get their ass whooped by the mob,
by the crew that put the boots to him, no, that wasn't no whooping. He get up with a scratch. We know that's not going to happen. In real time, in real life, that's not going to happen. And so as we go into deeper into, Umar Johnson. Umar Johnson was the one who got, I should say, Umar Johnson was the one who was working on the school, and it would have moved so fast it would have scared him and stopped calling it a school and called it anything else. But that's a whole nother topic. So, Portia, you put it on there too, Umar Johnson. Yep. So from there, in that 22-year period, Tupac is trying to reach out to somebody, a very, very specific individual. Now, you got to remember, he's coming back like Machiavelli. Machiavelli is in exile. If Machiavelli is in exile, he's reaching out for somebody. But there's only one person that he could be reaching out at this end, and that would be the one that the lodges call Hiram, who would be the son or the widow's son. They call her the widow's son because her husband was so-called assassinated by his brother and her brother. This is your Osirian resurrection story. This is not your Jesus of the Bible story. Osirian resurrection is the original resurrection story. And so this is why they have to keep playing a scenario of a crucified Savior before you. So when you go to these books, you can look in Kersey Graves' 16 Crucified Saviors. And at various times around the world, you have the same story, but you have a different character playing the story. That's the same resurrection. They have to keep this in your memory so you can figure it out. So they have to keep repeating the cycle. So they had to assassinate Martin because it wasn't time yet. Malcolm was a different purpose. Mega Evers. They had to neutralize those they're not allowed to execute, like Imam Abu Jamal, Larry Hoover, Jeff Ford, all of the ones in that Colorado Supermax. They're not allowed to kill them. All of those black leaders in prison right now, especially the ones in the Colorado Supermax. The ones in Colorado are there because they want to stifle their influence. Now, notice that the ones in Colorado, they want to stifle their influence. Now, Mutula Shakur should have been released. He's past his out date, and he doesn't have the prison record, but they don't want him on the streets because of his influence and his ability to think. No thinkers allowed. And so if Tupac going to reach this person that he's reaching out for, then somebody would have to be able to see through the myth in order to get to what Tupac is doing. It ain't just Tupac. He ain't the only one. Gene Deal did a whole video called Biggie, Just Like Christ or something like that, where he compared the whole Biggie assassination to the Christ. Why would he do that 22 years later? Now, this is March 9th would be 22 years for Biggie. Last September was 22 years for Tupac. I'm going to tell you, I don't believe either one of them dead. Personally, me. I don't believe either one of them dead. I don't believe Eazy-E dead. I don't believe that Nipsey Hussle is dead. Evidence to support any of these deaths. Now, when I look at the evidence doesn't say what they're telling me. The evidence doesn't reveal what these people are telling us in the news and in these shows. What the evidence says clearly is this. There was a government conspiracy under the counterintelligence program to execute Tupac Amaru Shakur. As a result, the contingency was put in play by various people. I can tell you who I believe, but I don't have the inside information to support this. I believe that the Black Liberation Army, Nation of Islam, and the Black Panther hierarchy of the real Panthers and not the pseudo-Panther agents Not them, the real Panthers. You got to keep that in mind. Geronimo Pratt was not a Los Angeles Panther, but he was a Panther out of Mississippi, a California Panther. Geronimo Pratt, Mississippi. Why is that important? Because the Panthers in Mississippi were first, different, and had a different psychology. When they realized the level of infiltration of the Panthers in Los Angeles, New York, Chicago, and various other places, the Mississippi faction of Panthers changed their name to the Black Liberation Army. Why did they change their name? They wanted to be distinguished from the group that was infiltrated. They wanted people that was wise enough to see the difference, to be able to know these are liberators. These are infiltrators, right? So now, what happened? Afeni married Matulu. Matulu is not a Panther, contrary to popular opinion. He's Black Liberation Army. Matulu is Black Liberation Army. Feeney was a Panther. Feeney had to find a solid individual to escape the infiltrators. I'm not going to get too deep into that right now. So now, in the decoding of Tupac, as we go down the line, so in the planning of the deaths, they got to have people in play that are totally clueless, which takes us to the movie in the Cruisers 2, when Eddie returns and his best friend is irate and he hurt. I was your best friend. You deceived me. Now, why is that scene important? If you see the Eddie in the Cruiser, if you see the Eddie in the Cruiser situation, see if I can pull some of it up. I don't know if y'all be able to hear it or not. But in there, Sal, which is his buddy. Now notice Sal name got 3 letters, S-A-L. Sal's son asked him, is it okay if I go play with Richie? Names are keys too. Who would this Sal character be in real time? Whoever this Sal character be, his kid likes to play with Richie. Got to remember that. Sal's kid liked to play with Richie. That's no coincidence that my son's brother name is Richie. That's just not a coincidence. And so when we start moving into what's being said, what do Eddie tell Sal? He said, man, I couldn't take it. It was too much. So what did Finney say in the interview? She said, I wanted to fix it for my baby, but I couldn't. So he had to make her heart leave quietly. I just condensed some stuff from different parts of her interview into a sentence. So y'all find it in pieces in her interview. With the same interview where she talking about he chose to leave quietly, it's the same interview when she wanted to fix it for her baby. It's the same interview when there was nothing she could do. With all of the shit she knew, she didn't know how to stop these people from trying to kill her baby. So what do? He don't do nothing. But the contingency is executed to get him out alive. They have to get him out alive, to get him out intact. In order for him to be able to come out in 2019 with his next product, in order for him to connect with the Son of Man, Hiram, the raised one, and push this liberation to the next level. Now, I don't know this to be the facts, but I know our history. And in our history, we had a naming ritual. And we did it on both sides of the water. Over here in the in the Amur Inca, and over there in the Afar Inca. On both sides of the water, we whisper every day until the child gave a coherent answer as to what their name was. You whisper it in their ear every day. And it had to be at the exact same time every day. And it has to be done by the mother. Only the mother can extract the true name of the child out. It can take as long as a year for the child to tell the mother coherently what their name is. Now, I believe, based on African conjure, not based on talking to Afeni or talking to Tupac, but based on my knowledge of African conjure and watching his family live the matriarchal family lifestyle and watching their understanding of the culture, I believe every day she asked him, "What is your name?" Every day. 9 months go by, and he finally answered her, Tupac Amaru. And when she looked it up and discovered who he was, if she didn't already know, she's like, "That's my baby, and I'm naming him that." Changing his name from Lazane Paris Cooks to Tupac Amaru Shakur. Now, the name itself has a meaning. The shining serpent or the wise serpent. What are they talking about? They're talking about the gold cord or the gold light, that little sliver of gold in the heart that only your goodness, sincerity,
That's why if you notice when it come on, it starts in Oakland. Now, in Oakland is where Tupac's rap career really developed after he left Baltimore School of the Arts. So the movie was like a precursor or a predictor of how the events in the final age is supposed to unfold. So you take a look at the movie Panther. When it first come on, you see a alien ship, but the ship is not truly alien. It's African and it's cloaked and it's from Earth. So there is a clue right there to something. So we have to go search our history. We have to search our Native American history, our African history, our Asian history to find out if this movie has any validity in the storyline. In the storyline, if you pay attention, you'll see that this dude, that there's the prince, the crown prince, is fighting to maintain the control of his nation without the world invading their privacy and trying to steal their wealth, resources, and their technology. So he's trying to protect it from that. But now you have his cousin who grew up outside of that, and he really have no sense of understanding of what it's like on the inside of trying to protect these secrets and these rights. So he just want to just set this off. He want to just tear it up, kill all of the enemy, never knowing that there's something else in play here. And so these two become emissaries. This is Tupac and Biggie all day long, according to the storyline in pop culture that they're repeating. This Tupac and Biggie. Now watch what happened. So he get attempted assassination. They thought he was dead. But while he was recovering, he is basically resurrected by the chief of a guerrilla clan. Why the guerrilla clan? Now, if you go back to ancient Egypt, you know your Egyptian studies, there's only one totem animal that has not been produced in the hieroglyph, and that is the gorilla. The reason being is because the last totem to rule would be the gorilla, or the monkey king, or the king of the Congo, because the true Holy Land is not in the Middle East, so don't fall for that. Those imposters over there are not Jews. That's not the Holy Land. So go back to the movie Look at how they set the map of Africa up, because there's no country in Africa called Wakanda, but the geographical landmass they speak of, you can match up the area to the Congo. And the guerrilla chief telling them, I got the right to the throne. I can, but he don't really want to contend because he think that my man, the Panther, can do this without bringing the world to ruin, basically. So he's like, I don't want to get in it. He let his mother heal him up, get him back in the fight, get him back in the game. Boom, he reclaimed the kingdom. At the end of the movie, you find him where? Back in Oakland, talking about the recovery. Now, when we talk about the recovery that he's going over and how he's going to teach the people the truth and all of this stuff and build the museums, the recovery is the exposure of the times, the history, and how this all is weaved together. Now remember, they have to give you the opportunity to discover the manner in which the deception is taking place. But they do not have to tell it to you outright, directly or factually. They can veil it in children's art form and make you believe that it's only entertainment. But you've been exposed to the storyline already. So you're supposed to be perceptive enough to see it. Once they gave you the opportunity to discover, if you do not discover, that absolves them. So then they can do another blood ritual and rite to capture what you use as an ignorance. They can capture it and use it as you giving consent to them to use your power to keep you oppressed. You are consenting to them by not acknowledging the truth that's in plain sight, that they can control you. Did I say, okay, you can control me because I'm not smart enough to see what's before me. But it's not that you're not smart enough. They use trickery. They use trickery and deception. So in the movie Panther, you see the whole story play out of Tupac, his beef with Biggie. That's the same story. We don't even match the storyline up and realize it's the same exact story because we don't pay attention to the subtleties. The distractions is more what we pay attention to, the explosions, the costumes, but we don't pay attention to the content or the context of the storyline, which goes to the Planet of the Apes. Because in the Planet of the Apes, you got the same story. You got Koba and you got Caesar at conflict. But both of them is for their people, but they got two different agendas. This is Malcolm and Martin Luther King all day long. Both of them end up getting killed. But they're telling you a double story with Planet of the Apes. Actually, it's multiple stories in the Planet of the Apes. Because the Planet of the Apes is representative of the Rh positive blood factor. The undermining forces which came was Rh negative reptilian bloodline, whereas the evolved human, was Rh positive mammalian bloodline. Now, when you talk about the Planet of the Apes, you're talking about the returning to Earth to its natural owners, the Rh positive. Now, the Rh negative bloodlines influence the genetics without the permission from the creator, which caused a whole lot of problems, which I'm not going to get into here. I want to stay on the Planet of the Apes in the story that's being told in it. It's the Moses story, if you really pay attention. At the end is where it's, after the final one is when he's sitting up there and shot, is where you realize it's the Moses story. So you go back to the beginning of the Planet of the Apes, and it gives you the unfolding of the beginning of the Christ story of the New Testament, but it ends with the telling of the Moses story. And they did that because it's the same story, but it was changed subtly so as to confuse us as to how the actual story went. If they don't tell you the story in sequential order, it's up to you to figure out the sequence. So they can tell it to you out of order in order to confuse you, but it's up to you, and it takes a lot of time and research and trying to be accurate with your research to be able to put the pieces together. So, Caesar started out as just a regular evolved chimp, and he had something in his blood that was given to his mother. This is your Eve story. And Eve was supposed to be infused with the light strain by the serpent. And the light strain was able to give her seed the life strain, which was the access to eternal life. So the light strain is the knowledge, the light strain. Then the life strain is the evolved wisdom of ascension. That's the tree of life. So you got the tree of knowledge, which is the light strain, which is the DNA being encoded with packets of light that carry binary code that tells you when to wake up from a slumber where you had to learn life lessons, and then you evolve back into your angelic form. So this is all encoded in the DNA. So when you see them giving Caesar's mother the injection, it's affecting the baby that's in her, that she's carrying, and when she protects her child, it kills her. That's supposed to be the story of the Christ, because the Christ is not a man. The Christ is a woman, and the son of man was her son, as you see with the Black Madonna and child. So when we get that story straightened out, all of the rest of them lines up. And so they couldn't kill the Christ if they wanted to. But that goes on to a whole other subject matter. I want to stay with the Planet of the Apes. In the story of the Planet of the Apes, it is the Nazca lines, the movie King Kong, and the repeated telling of the Planet of the Apes, the origin of the story, and the major symbols and names that connect it all. To go into the origin of the Planet of the Apes story, it was written in pulp fiction form as a novel, and it came out of Paris, France. It's the significance to that, and I'm going to touch a little bit, but I'm not going to go too deep into that because that's a whole nother thing. That's the bloodline of the Holy Grail. So the book came from France, the same as the Statue of Liberty came from France. You got to remember that, because later on in another video, we're going to clear all up to the why factor of that. So the book was written in France by a Frenchman. In several interviews, he said this book, this story, The Planet of the Apes, is when about the black people take charge of Earth or reclaim Earth. And he said this is the day of the dread of the white people. He was a Frenchman that wrote the book. And so they was going back to the United States Constitution, the 3/5 Compromise. They was going to the biblical Exodus reference and the story of Moses. They was going to the story of the Christ. Now, you got to remember, the Jews are waiting on Moses. The Jews are waiting on Moses. They're waiting on the Son of Man. They've never been waiting on the Christ because they fear her. They only want the Son. They wanted the Son of Man, or they thought they did. But the Son will never betray the mother, as has been proven time and time again. The Son will never betray the mother, as has been proven time and time again. So this is where your Black Madonna is. So this is when they took Caesar, the son, from the mother. Now, Caesar is being raised as a human, but he's an ape. And other sisters all over this bitch, and you run from them.
you can't get along with them. It's sisters that's trying to put together fucking vanguards, but you don't fuck with them. Where's the sisters you fuck with? I mean, the ones you always bully around, that don't count. You can't put together a matriarchy, and have a female in the middle of good-hearted women with jealousy and resentment in her heart, because that's going to make all of them have that same feeling back toward her, which is going to affect the children. If you a parent, that shit don't fly. You don't nobody over your child is spilling hate into him, do you? So why would you do it? You want nobody over your child spilling hate. So why would you do it? You had the little kids now curse worse than the grown folks. I don't mind them cursing personally, because we are living in a society where there is a problem and nobody should be using politically correct nothing under the face of oppression. Everything's supposed to be politically incorrect directly, because you don't agree with the whole oppressive structure. The only reason why you don't be politically correct is because being politically correct means you in agreement and you are agreeing that the politics is correct. I don't agree to that shit. Fuck them bitches. They can kiss my ass from here to Albuquerque, teabag theyself when they get there, and drown in my feces. I don't give a fuck. Political correct that shit. It's not gonna happen. It's not gonna happen. Now me, I ain't know what you call tyrannical ruler type motherfucker. I believe motherfucker needs the opportunity, and they can govern their own goddamn self. But in the world where everybody can't govern themselves, they got external motherfuckers to do it for them. The problem is, why don't nobody have self-control? That's the question we need to be asking. In the world we live in, nobody has self-control. Where is it at? They surrender self-control for social control, social dominance of a society. It's the whole thing. That gives you the ability to escape your own responsibility for your own actions, because you rely on a society to tell you what is right and what is wrong, when you should already know what's written in your heart, what you feel like. When you about to shoot this motherfucker in his face, you don't feel like you about to do something that's not good? You don't think you say, I shouldn't shoot this? Don't never come to your mind that maybe it's another way. I don't gotta blast his head off. You talk about Black Lives Matter because the police killed the nigga, but you killed 10? That don't match to me. That shit off balance. You can't say Black Lives Matter while you taking black lives because somebody else took a black life that didn't look like you. Black Lives Matter has to be unilaterally. And then as soon as you say Black Lives Matter, you nullify the validity of Black Lives Mattering, because you had to tell a motherfucker. The fact that you got to tell somebody that you matter means you had to be an insignificant, no business born motherfucker to begin with. Or else you wouldn't have never had to say you matter. What is the remedy? Matter to yourself first. You don't matter to yourself, you can just go and follow the system. You can go and be one of they drones. You get funneled like cow through a maze to work, to school, and back home in a cycle. Periodically, some people rise a little bit higher because they can't take that level of oppression at the bottom
They work a little bit harder. They call that lighting a fire under your ass. So they light a fire under you by making you emotionally opposed to your current condition until you are driven from an internal source to change your condition to a condition that you are acceptable and compatible with. Some people don't give a fuck. You gonna try to hold me down, motherfucker? I'm just gonna enjoy the bottom. Shit. I'm gonna be comfortable at the bottom just as well as you comfortable at the top. Bitch, it don't matter to me. Bring it. I can take it all. But there's others that's gonna squeal a little bit more and more, depending on what they made of. That means they gonna move higher up the socio-economic ladder in standings of the standard of the society, because to keep you from being a pressure cooker, you gotta have room to grow out of that suffering to a level you can satisfy. I mean, you become, oh yeah, this is a comfortable slave spot right here. God damn it, I got the dough man spot. And the other motherfucker say, fuck that, I'm the taxi driver. You're still a slave. You're still working for somebody else other than your children, because that's who you really supposed to be working for as a parent. You don't work for you. That shit ain't got nothing to do with you. You made these babies, you got to take care of them. Now you got a reason to work. It ain't personal. Got nothing to do with you. You have a responsibility, just deal with it. Go to work. It's not personal. Stop taking that shit personal. The balls at the job need to be the same way. Just because you got a motherfucking different position don't make you better than the next motherfucker. I might know more about your position than you do, but choose a different position because it makes it easier for me to have more structured time with my family. But people don't take that into consideration and assume because you're in a different position that you are lesser than them. You're not as smart as them, and you're not as valuable as them. But sometimes they take your ass out of that motherfucking position that you in temporarily and realize how valuable you was just where the fuck you was at. Some people, you don't know their value until they gone. You don't know their contributions until those same contributions is not being made. Championship team that traded the guy because he didn't have over 10 points a game forgot that he had 20 assists, goddamn 13 rebounds, 4 block shots. The 6 stars and the 7 sisters, the man and the woman represented by the 7 sisters. This is your 13, your queen's seat. But here, look. This is the horns of the bull. Here. This is the horns of the bull. So this man would have to be Orion because he had to get through the bull in order to get to the Pleiades. But let's see if there's any validity to this as we scroll down. Because I had to find all the answers wherever they at on Earth. Wherever that is on Earth. Now look at this. You see? Okay, we're going to go down. This is the North Star, the morning star. Symbol donates bright star. You see? Okay, but we're going to go down here because we want to see if we can get to what that symbol is. Okay, now here, look. This is Ta'ert. Now notice it say the boots. Now this ties me to Italy. This ties me to Italy. The boots constellation ties me to Italy. Right? Now, why does this tie me to Italy? La Cosa Nostra. The Sicilians. The boots constellation is a woman's boot. It's a woman's boot. That's Italy. That's Italian. Noble Drew Ali say the Italians is hard-headed because they got our blood. That ties me to the Italians when I finally get to the seat, to the mother's seat. Italy. Boots. Now we talking about something. But now notice this is not Pleiades, this is Arcturus. The Arcturians, who also aided in the struggle for the redemption process. Right? Now I want y'all to look at that imagery. Now let's go down some more because we ain't done. Now we in Italy now. Now you see here the slaying of the bull. This is your running of the bull ceremony. Now look. Two suns, the leg of the bull, 7 stars of Pleiades. Orient belt of line. See? Orion slays the bull to deliver the 7 sisters of the Pleiades. You can't make this shit up. Alright, let's go down and see what it means. Now, we talking about, look, Orion, 7 sisters equals the DNA helix. What is that telling you? It take a man and a woman to make a baby. I'm not saying that's what the stars say. And we got to look to the boots. Because there's something here that interferes with all of this. This is a physics problem. This is incongruent. What does a boot have to do with genetics, women, and men? What's the anomaly? One of these things don't match. This sticks out. It does. A boot doesn't match. That's wrong. So something is wrong with the boots. The boots are wrong. Let's keep going. See? Slaying of the bull. The man slaying the bull. Go down some more. Here. Now watch this. Now remember I told you she had the 2 bears. The bears called her Ursa. But she had cubs, Ursa Minor. Right? But Shug was Big Shug, Ursa Major. Now I had to make that connection. She had 2 baby bears tattooed on her, but Shug is the big bear. Big Shug, Sugar Bear. I'm all off in this red lodge shit. I hope y'all paying attention. So now this is Shug, Ursa Major. But what is this telling me? Check this out. This is the Fibonacci sequence. There's an order to this shit when it look out of order. That's what it's telling me. Current theory. Revised precession. It's showing me it's going according to the pattern of the Fibonacci sequence. Now, let's go down some more. Here. See? Now, when you're using the Fibonacci sequence, let's go back up here for a second. In using the Fibonacci sequence here, this is telling me that I have to go from this direction, right to left. I have to go from right to left. Because see the arrow? The arrow says go this way. So in reality, I got to go the other way.